You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Two of those key breakout candidates are at shooting guard and small forward. The first one is the shooting guard. Kiyan Anthony, 6'5", 185 pounds. You might have heard of Kiyan Anthony. He is a consensus high-end 4-star recruit out of New York. But that's not why you probably know him. It's because he is the son of former Syracuse great Carmelo Anthony, who led Syracuse to its only national title in 2003. Back to Kiyan specifically, though, he is known as one of the better pure scorers in the class of 2025, and he's probably not going to be asked to start right away. But I think one of the best case scenarios of this team for next year is that Kiyan Anthony starts to force the coaching staff's hand a little bit. They almost make it so that they have to play him in the starting lineup. Ideally, Nate Kingz is doing his thing at small forward. JJ Starling, I don't think is going to come out of the starting lineup no matter what. It would take an incredibly long stretch of bad basketball in order for him to come out, which means that Nate Kingz is the only one of the two that could come out barring injury. The hope is that Nate Kingz is playing well, but Kiyan Anthony is doing so well off the bench that they have to give him more minutes. And so maybe they have to move the starting lineup around because they need to get Kiyan Anthony on the floor more. And also, I'm not necessarily worried about playing him at small forward rather than shooting guard. And part of the reason is because he's the same size as Nate Kingz. So basically what I'm saying is that if you're concerned about Nate Kingz being in the starting lineup at only about 6'5", less than 200 pounds, fine, I get it. It's the same deal also with Kiyan Anthony. They could both be a little bit undersized for a small forward in high major Division I basketball. But having said that, that's the best case scenario. Kiyan Anthony starts to force this team's hand and make him play in the starting lineup this upcoming season, because that would mean that this team has a lot more depth. It would really lengthen out the lineup if he could break out. And then you got Tyler Betsey, 6'8", 225-pound sophomore, a small forward. He transferred from Cincinnati this offseason. He was a former top 50 overall recruit in the class of 2024, but last year, he did not necessarily live up to that hype. If I'm being completely honest with you, he played in 34 games, which is nice, but he only averaged about 3 points a game, 2 rebounds per game, and he was known as a good shooter in high school, but that did not translate to his first season in college basketball. Shot less than 32% from the three-point line and less than 30% in Big 12 play a year ago. The hope is that Tyler Betsey can improve on those percentages. He can maybe shoot 35% from the three-point line next year because that would provide the team a little bit more shooting because they don't necessarily have a lot of shooting beyond Nate Kingz. But with a guy like Tyler Betsey next year, a reasonable expectation would be, hey man, 3 attempts per game from the three-point line and shoot 35%. That's a respectable three-point percentage. It's not asking Tyler Betsey too much from him. The dream is that he breaks out completely and just explodes, right? That's obviously the dream of the guy like Tyler Betsey. He's a former top 50 overall recruit. Maybe he just takes a big sophomore leap forward. We saw Chris Bell do that, actually. I mean, when you compare his numbers as a true freshman to what he was as a true sophomore, he took a big jump. Same with Malik Brown, same with Quadir Copeland with Syracuse a few years ago.